It was a dark and stormy night, and the only bus running to Fragrant Hills was bus 375. The passengers huddled together, seeking refuge from the torrential rain that pelted the bus like bullets. The driver, an elderly man with a long white beard, drove the bus with a steady hand, despite the treacherous conditions. As the bus wound its way up the mountain, the passengers began to notice that something was wrong. The rain had stopped, but the bus seemed to be moving slower and slower, as if it were struggling against an invisible force. Suddenly, the bus came to a grinding halt, and the lights flickered and died. The passengers were plunged into darkness, and they could hear the wind howling outside. The driver got out of his seat and went to investigate, but he never returned. As the minutes turned into hours, the passengers began to panic. They pounded on the windows, screaming for help, but there was no one around to hear them. Suddenly, they heard a faint scratching sound coming from the roof of the bus. It grew louder and louder until it sounded like a pack of wild animals were trying to claw their way inside. One by one, the passengers began to disappear, snatched away by an unseen force. The remaining passengers huddled together, clinging to each other for dear life. But it was no use. They were trapped on the last bus to Fragrant Hills, and there was no way out. As the sun began to rise, the bus started to move again, creaking and groaning as it lurched forward. The remaining passengers looked out the window and saw that they were no longer on the road to Fragrant Hills. Instead, they were in the middle of a desolate wasteland, surrounded by twisted trees and charred earth. The driver appeared out of nowhere, his face twisted into a sinister grin. "Welcome to my domain," he said. "You're all mine now." The passengers screamed in terror as the bus plunged into the abyss, never to be seen again. And to this day, locals swear that if you listen carefully on a quiet night, you can still hear the ghostly screams of the passengers of bus 375, trapped forever in the darkness.